Hi there and welcome to episode 14 of Story Shed. Thank you for joining us. We are the storytelling podcast for children of all ages, adults too, foxes, fish, firefighters, anybody out there who wants to listen. Please join us for our new and original stories. You are very, very welcome. Please continue to get in touch. StoryShedPodcast@gmail.com and StoryShedPod on Twitter. Lovely to hear from everybody as always. Today's story is a reworking of another very old story that many of you may have heard called the Magic Porridge Pot. So it's a up-to-date version of that, and our story is called Mo Porridge, Mo Problems. Let's open the door. Story Shed, episode 14, Mo Porridge, Mo Problems. Mo lived with his family in a house rather small. One kitchen, one bedroom, one toilet, that's all. They didn't have much money and didn't own much stuff. What food they had too often simply wasn't enough to feed brothers Ahmed, Rahim and Amir, nor sisters Sarek, Anisha, Anna and Abir. Mum and Dad worked both so incredibly hard, Mum cleaning schools, Dad a security guard. However, with so many mouths at home to feed, they never quite had enough to meet their needs. But one otherwise ordinary Tuesday, Mo and his family's fortunes shifted. Mo came across something that would leave his spirits lifted. He was playing football in the park, just like he always did, when the ball hit the crossbar and then managed to skid past the pitch, through the trees and into the bushes beyond. Mo chased after it and saw it bobbing gently on the pond. From the ball, his eyes were drawn to a strange shack. A shack he had never noticed before, he was sure of that. And from it the most delicious smell was emanating. The taste buds in Mo's mouth began pulsating. As he made his way round the pond to the front of the shack, and upon the door he gave a gentle rat-a-tat-tat. "Come in, Mo," came a voice from behind the wall. And in he went, forgetting all about his football, where he found an old lady stirring porridge in a pot, thick and creamy and deliciously, enticingly piping hot. Without looking up, the lady continued, "Do you like porridge, Mo?" Mo licked his lips in response and said, "I do, but how do you know?" "Because you can have this pot," she said, cutting his question off, "and it will cook as much porridge as you and your family can scoff. Just say, 'Cook, little pot, cook,' and sure enough the porridge began to grow. But to stop it, it's the following words that it's essential to know. 'Stop, little pot, stop.' And sure enough, the porridge grew no more. Mo thanked and thanked the lady as he headed out the door. And with the pot in his bag, he grabbed his bike and headed straight home, eyes wide and mouth grinning, completely unaware that he wasn't alone. From the bushes, little Tony had been watching the whole scene. Watching the lady and the magic pot, his eyes turning slowly green. Little Tony hopped on his bike too and followed Mo to his street, where he peeked through Mo's window, stood on the tips of his feet, and watched as Mo showed his family his new-found treasure. Their beaming faces writ large with immeasurable pleasure. Inside, Mo showed the family how to stop the pot, saying the words to show it you had had your lot. Later that night, little Tony made one of his bad choices. Ignoring inside his head the cautionary voices, he crept in through Mo's open back door and tiptoed softly across the kitchen floor. He grabbed the pot and slipped it into his rucksack, and then crept back out the door and headed back to his own house, where he hid the pot beneath his bed. But instead of sleeping, lay awake, thinking instead of all the things he could do with the magic pot. Make money by selling the porridge deliciously hot. Pretend he was a magician with special powers. He'd be famous and rich within a matter of hours. Sell the pot to a supermarket who would have endless porridge for their stores. Little Tony dreamt of money stuffed into all his cupboards and all his drawers. In the morning he set the pot on the kitchen table, which wobbled briefly before becoming stable. And then he said out loud, "Cook, little pot, cook!" Nothing happened for a split second, and then the table shook, as the pot sprang to life and porridge began bubbling and popping. It quickly reached the brim of the pot, with no sign of it stopping. Little Tony's wide smile soon turned itself upside down, as the porridge spilled onto the table and then onto the ground. "Stop!" he pleaded, as it spread towards the door. But the pot just kept on cooking more and more and more. Tony realised with horror he didn't know the words to make it stop. To escape the kitchen and avoid the porridge he had to hop. So hop he did to the door and then onto the street. The porridge soon followed, flowing in between his feet. It had filled the house and was pouring from all the windows. People on the street took out their phones and began taking photos. Before they realised it wasn't stopping any time soon. This porridge couldn't be stopped with just a spoon. So they ran from the gloop, they ran from the slop, they ran and they ran and they didn't stop. It was the smell that Mo noticed first. In through his window it seemed to burst. "Porridge," he whispered, and headed downstairs, but couldn't see his new magic pot anywhere. And then he saw a river of porridge flowing past the back door. He stuck his head out the window and let out a mighty roar. "Stop, little pot, stop!" he bellowed as loud as he could. And the river of porridge slowly but surely stopped for good. The whole neighbourhood worked together to clean up the mess, and Mo and his family took back the pot that had caused such distress, sure now to keep a close eye on their newfound treasure. What's more, they had a plan to replace the distress caused with pleasure. From that day on, they would take the pot from door to door, delivering to all their neighbours piping hot porridge galore. And first on their list, you will see, was none other than little Tony. There we go, that was episode 14, Mo Porridge, Mo Problems. And here we are with our little helpers again, Belle and Leo. Say hello.
Hello. Hi.
Okay, so first question. Tell me about Mo and his family.
Well, they're a very poor family. They don't have much money and, yeah.
There's lots of them and they've got to feed everyone.
Brilliant. How did Mo find the magic porridge pot?
Well, he was playing football in the park one day, and his ball rolled into the bushes, and he chased after it. And then he saw a little house. Inside there was a lady, and he gave him the pot.
Super. What was unusual about that lady?
She knew his name. And
So what does that mean? What does that suggest?
She is magical.
Okay. Good. How do you think Mo felt when she showed him that pot that could cook porridge magically?
Really excited and happy, and yeah.
Good. Why?
Because Mo doesn't really have much food because he's very poor, and to have something that'll instantly cook food is, well, you would be happy, wouldn't you?
Super. But then we find out that little Tony's been watching from the bushes, and there's a line in the story that says, little Tony's eyes started slowly turning green. What does that tell you about little Tony at that point?
He's quite jealous.
Super. And what's he thinking about doing?
Stealing the pot and selling it for money.
Okay, good. Yeah, so then he goes home and he has lots of plans for the magic pot, doesn't he? What are those plans? What does he want to do with it?
He could be a magician or sell the porridge and sell the pot to a supermarket. And
good.
all of those involve money and who wants money.
Super. So we don't know anything about little Tony. We know about Mo and his family, but we know that little Tony made a bad choice. But why do you think he made that bad choice if he wanted that pot so badly?
Because he was, he might have also been poor because they live on the same street, and yeah, and he might have also been poor and like Mo's family, so he needed food and stuff.
Excellent. Then what happens at the end? What do Mo's family do at the end with their magic porridge pot after all the disaster happens and things?
Well, every day they go around to the people's doors and they give them porridge.
Super. And who's at the top of the list?
Tony.
Why?
Because they must have forgiven him because they understand that he's poor too.
Okay, so what does that tell us about Mo's family?
They're kind and generous.
Super. If there's a message behind this story, little helpers, what do we think that message might be?
Share, please.
Okay, share. Good. Anything else?
Share, please.
Okay.
You've got to work for stuff.
Okay, good. So make sure you share and make sure you work for stuff. Is that what we're saying? Yeah. Okay.
Share, please.
All right. So, my final question: what would you do if you came across a magic porridge pot?
Oh, well, I would maybe share it with everyone and yeah.
Good.
Yeah, same as Belle. I would be generous with it. I would give it to everybody who maybe didn't have as much money as...
Super. Okay, so not my final question then. This is my final question. If you could have a pot that cooked something else endlessly, what would that be?
Pancakes!
Pancakes.
Pancakes!
Okay. Come on.
Pancakes!
Chips.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your question answering once again, and we'll see you next time. Say bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya!
There we go. Thank you very, very much to Leo and Belle, our little helpers, and thank you for joining us for episode 14. Please join us for the next episode, which will be along shortly. And we should have our YouTube channel up and running soon, which will have our stories on with the words to the story. So that will hopefully help some people to follow along, especially out there, if your language, English is your second language. So look out for that, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.